People who take massive war crime level dumps in public bathrooms but don't flush. Why? I did this once because I had no choice. I had to be somewhere early for work that was 1.5 hours away. So I'm driving this whole time before sunrise, drinking coffee, a little nervous for this work thing, and now I have to it bad. I find a random dainis and run straight to the bathroom. There's only one stall. I lock the door and turn to find someone clogged the entire bowl with paper and ass gaskets. I proceed to push out this ridiculous soft serve mountain on top of the soggy paper platform, like a McDonald's IE cream cone, but the entire pile is above water. I had to hover and wipe just to avoid touching it. I had no choice but to top it off with a blanket of SIT paper. By the time I'm done, the summit is a good 3 chairs above seat level. I could push that flusher 100 times and the whole structure wouldn't budge. Absolutely shameful. If anyone here is a dainis employee in Northridge, California that had to deal with this, I'm sorry. Used to work in a small office with 2 separate bathrooms, one on either side of our office space. Each was a tiny room with a toilet and a sink. There was a guy who without fail, about an hour or 2 after lunch, would decimate one crime scene level mess with the odor as well, and that odor would waft outward to the nearest cubicle residents, who complained daily. He never flushed, and his excuse was that he'd read how toilets create an aerosol effect when they're flushed, which sends a cloud of mist into the air, and he refused to endure that, because who knows who else used that toilet. Which meant someone else got the honor of being sprayed with his leavings. Boss told him he had 2 choices, flush and spray Lysol generously, which truly does little to abate the stench, or use the facilities somewhere else. I'm sorry to say he chose to go to the nearest fast food place instead. To those valiant McDonald's employees, I'm so sorry, you did not deserve that. As a janitor, I'd like to know the answer to this as well. Also, why poop in the urinal? For me, I get confused when there's no paper and no way in hell they had a ghosty. Edit. I'm guessing there are several names for it. I've always heard them referred to as a ghosty though. I believe it's called the fight or flight response. What if it's so large it doesn't flush? Can't flush it. If it's on the floor, now can I? Well, having had the office by the bathrooms, I can probably tell you. Mostly they just don't know that it didn't go down. Epic filled bowls take more than one flush, and some people's mothers didn't raise them to check their flush. They just get up, hit the lever, hopefully wet their hands, and leave. Other people clog the toilet. In my case we had a plunger, but many bathrooms just don't for some ungodly reason. And even in our case, many people just leave because they don't know how, don't want to deal with a clogged toilet. Again, I blame bad parenting. Probably just didn't get enough hugs as a child. Oh, and there were a few people that put f-king paper towel in the toilet. Those are the cat stranglers. You really have to watch out for them. Some people like to show off. One time I was in a really crowded airport bathroom and had to pee after this long flight. I ran into the bathroom and every stall had a long line coming out of it except for one stall. I took my chances and chose a stall without a line. There was a wretched mess everywhere. I really had to pee, so I aimed where the toilet was hiding underneath all the poop. As in peeing, a line starts to form outside the stall because the next people in line now think the toilet is usable. I start freaking out because they are going to think I'm the one who left all the poop. I finished peeing, opened the door, and shouted I didn't do that. It was like that when I got here. I heard the next guy in line start swearing when he saw what was in the stall. I walked away with the idea that at least it's an airport states away from where I live, and hopefully nobody will ever recognize me. What about the people that have sticky poop where no matter how many times you flush it doesn't dislodge and you have to use another bowl? Plugging it up would be worse. Let's let it soak for a while then try. Probably the most valid question I've come across on this page yet. Working in construction and seeing some of these toilets, I need to know. When my mom was a custodian, she once found a doochie in the toilet that she literally had to cut into pieces with a knife in order to get it to flush. It was horrifying. Forgot my poop knife. In the only time I have done this in public, it's due to the toilet not flushing or having toilet paper. I ended up hobbling over to another stall to wipe my ass. As I was doing so, a few guys come in. One heads to the stall that I just decimated and blurts out, "Wow, someone just took a wicked asset in here." I quietly grinned. And just like that I like Reddit again. Disclaimer, this is the story about my war crime asset. I was pooping in a stall at Union Station in Los Angeles. It was one of those legs to the wall. I can feel the separate layers within my intestines all being vacated type assets. It was totally thorough. I'm in a stall near the entrance to the public restroom. I can hear the footsteps and the comments of everyone as they enter. A boy and his father walk in. It smells like poopy and here daddy or something along those lines. A few moments later a rolled voice yells from a stall to my left, "Goddamn. Prison rules. Motherfucker, give us a courtesy flush on that asset." At this point I'm trying not to laugh. This asset has been a non-stop experience. My ass is open and I'm like a soft serve IE cream machine down there, man. When it's time to wipe I barely have enough room to drop in the TP. I'll have to never look back. Sometimes the toilet doesn't flush. It's not like I can take it back out. When we were in Greece I took a massive asset at a restaurant in the middle of nowhere. There was a sign when I walked in that appeared to show a person wipe their ass and then put it in the garbage. I thought nothing of it until the bowl wouldn't flush and realized the sign was literally telling me to wipe my ass and put the paper in the garbage. Anyway, the bus beeped its horn twice and I knew if I wasn't on that bus they were leaving me. So there I'm staring at this massive turd and a pile of SCT paper not flushing. So I said FCK it, I live thousands of miles away from here and need to get on that bus. So I basically sprinted from the restroom and paraphrasingly yelled, "Sorry I took a shit and didn't throw my TP away. I'm American," and they just nodded and said safe travels like Americans showing up and taking massive assets to just up and leave was normal. It was in that moment I truly understood where the USA stood in the world. Crazy times.